Hey guys, Lukewarm Reviews here. I just saw Darkest Hour, and I feel like I'm not ready to make this review yet, but that's what I did with my Call Me By Your Name video, and it was tremendously successful, so I'm gonna do it again. I wasn't terribly excited about this movie, but after hearing all the rave reviews, I decided I should see it. Also, I didn't realize until I was about to go today that it's directed by Joe Wright from Atonement and Hannah and a bunch of lovely movies. So I was like, oh, cool. So I got a little more excited about it going in, but I still was not prepared for how emotional it made me. So we'll start with my experience with the movie. It doesn't paint Winston Churchill in the most favorable light. For a large part of the first half of the movie, he seems really unreasonable. But there's a scene in a subway where, so if you haven't seen the movie, he's staunchly refusing peace talks of any kind with Germany, and lots of people are dying because of it. It's set at the exact same time as Dunkirk, and there's British forces on the beaches in France, and they're losing a lot of people. People are dying, and he's refusing to have peace talks. And I was getting angry with him because I consider myself to be a pacifist. I think that war is often, if not always, unnecessary. And until there's a scene in the subway, Winston Churchill gets on the train because he's never read the subway before, which is a little like, meh. And there's a lot of rich British white guys with no necks in this movie. But moving on. And he talks to just regular, ordinary people, and he asks them what they would have him do. And of course, there's a rousing chorus of never surrender and fight, and we'll take him on with broom handles if we have to. And I just started sobbing. It kind of came out of nowhere. And I think I forgot how intense World War II was, and then when I started to think about it in the broader historical context, it was not very long ago. You know, I feel like people often forget that about World War II, that in the grand scheme of things, it was like yesterday. And the scope of the horrors that happened is really incredible. And I think about my stance as a peaceful person and how I feel about meeting aggression with aggression. Because when you are faced with Nazis, with literal Nazis, like a lot of people in our country currently are being right now, I think that sometimes you have to choose to meet aggression with aggression. I wanted to change my verbiage here slightly because I don't exactly mean to meet aggression with further aggression. It's more of meeting aggression with unwavering, stalwart resistance. I guess what I'm trying to say is I identified a lot with this decision to fight because of the way that I feel about the injustices that I see happening in our country today. And I live in California, and I'm very privileged to live in this kind of a very liberal kind of bubble, and there are not Nazi marches and stuff like that, and all of my representatives are liberals, but if you don't, and even if you do, no, fuck that. Even if you do live here in California with me, we need to keep resisting. And I guess I didn't intend to go this political with this YouTube channel this fast, but fuck that, because this is how I feel. So we'll add making sure there's enough room on the memory card to the list of things I need to remember to do with my new camera. So I want to continue talking about The Darkest Hour. it cut off at a kind of a stopping point, but there was one more thing I wanted to mention about my experience with the film, about punching Nazis and resisting aggression of every kind. But I do want to mention, obviously, it's a little ironic that it's hard to hear these narratives from the British perspective, especially because they were the first ones that ever did it. It's hard to have these narratives come from the Anglo-white perspective because we were the original colonizers. We were the original ones that went to another place and said, like, we own you now. So the movie makes great points and it has great ethics, but you gotta remember, just be cognizant of the history and why this movie will be deeply frustrating, probably, to some people. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. It's weird to recall how recently they still had colonies and shit, and it's frustrating and it's gross, and it's important to remember within the context of everything that I'm speaking about. So old British white men with no necks, I'm on to you. I'm just gonna move on. Is it original? Is my next point. No. Like, Dunkirk came out this year. There's no shortage of World War II movies. Joe Wright is good at them. It's a good World War II movie, but it's not. No, it's not. It's nothing new. The acting is good. It's very good. I guess I was a tiny bit underwhelmed by Gary Oldman. I want Gary Oldman to win an Oscar, but I'm not sure if this is the movie I want him to win for. Just because he's virtually unrecognizable. Which a lot of people is like, oh, it's good, you know, he's so... But I mean it in the way that it could have been any number of people. Do you know what I mean? For example, a couple of years ago when I saw The Revenant, when I saw DiCaprio in The Revenant, I was like, this is the one. He's gonna win. This is an incredible performance, because there was something about it that nobody else could have done. Nobody else could have done that performance exactly the way that he did. And technically that's true of everybody, yeah. But at times in this movie, I was sort of like, I mean, they could have just as well cast Bill Nighy, or Bill Nye, I don't know how to pronounce his name, that guy. Or kind of any number of British actors, even like David Thewlis, one of his Harry Potter cohorts. But he's good, obviously, he's good. The rest of the acting is excellent as well. I particularly like Lily James. I kind of wanted to see like a whole movie of her character. Kristen Scott Thomas is great. Ben Mendelsohn and Stephen Dillane. They all offer really good performances. Good ensemble cast. Last thing, the cinematography. I mean, it's fine. It's good. Joe Wright is a big fan of his long shots, and they're there. They're really cool. There's lots of crowd shots. There's not much music to speak of, so not a lot going on there. But yeah, this is one that I'm gonna have to get back to you guys on, because I'm too fresh right now to really say how much I liked it and how much is just the initial response. But I wanted to make this video because my guttural initial emotional response was so powerful. So you might hear more about this on my list videos in the next couple weeks. Tell me what you guys prefer. I assume it's this because my Call Me By Your Name video was so well received. I don't know. I'm flying by the seat of my pants here, guys. I do want to keep this like open. keep telling me what you like and what you don't like, because I want to get better at making these for you guys so you can enjoy them. Subscribe, tell your friends. I'll be back with more soon. Bye.